Good morning. We would like to welcome everyone to this virtual grand installation for the 2021 Grand Officers. Our grand installation today has been adapted to accommodate our virtual ceremony. I would like to start by wishing you and your families the very best for your health and safety in these difficult times. I would also like to express my profound gratitude to all those who have helped keep Oregon Rainbow active and engaged even when we are apart. We have thoroughly reinvented the ways in which we meet and communicate and set a very high bar for what can be done virtually. I am beyond proud of the efforts taken and the incredible outcomes of events that have successfully occurred with our forward thinking. Big ideas come from forward-thinking people who challenge the norm, think outside the box, rather than submitting to the limitations of current dilemmas. T.D. Jakes. We invite you to leave behind the worries and concerns of everyday life and join us in the celebration of Oregon Rainbow's 95th installation. I am Becca Mobley, Grand Installing Officer. Today, we will be installing 6 Grand Officers who join me in serving as our jurisdiction leadership team for the grand year 2020-2021. Our membership is experiencing a gap in age demographics, and as a result, we are engaging courtesy officers to participate with the leadership team in performing degrees at DJR in March and serve as courtesy officers for our 2021 Grand Assembly. It is my honor to introduce our installing officers for today. At this time, I would ask Mrs. Mace to join me. It is my honor to introduce the Grand Installing Chaplain, Mrs. Susan Dunham Mace, past Grand Worthy Advisor, International Order of the Rainbow for Girls in Oregon. I would also like to ask Mrs. Varner to join me. It is my honor to introduce the Grand Installing Recorder, Mrs. Gloria Varner, past Grand Matron of the Grand Chapter of Oregon, Order of the Eastern Star. Mrs. Metz, would you please join me at this time? It is my honor to introduce Mrs. Melissa Metz, Supreme Deputy in Oregon, International Order of the Rainbow for Girls. You will join me in giving her a bee's knees welcome. Mrs. Wilson, we would be pleased if you would join us at this time. It is my honor to introduce Mrs. Marjorie Wilson, past Supreme Worthy Advisor and member of the House of Gold, International Order of the Rainbow for Girls, and past Grand Matron of the Grand Chapter of Oregon, Order of the Eastern Star. Please join me in giving her a musical welcome. It is my honor to introduce Mrs. Angie Thompson, State Mother Advisor, and Mr. Dean Reese, State Rainbow Dad, International Order of the Rainbow for Girls in Oregon. Please join me in giving them a hoopin' and hollerin' welcome. By authority vested in me as installing Grand Officer of the Grand Assembly, I declare the Grand Assembly open for installation. Grand Recorder. You will call the names of the officers elected and appointed to fill the stations of this Grand Assembly for the ensuing year.
Grand Worthy Associate Advisor, Jessica Walter. Grand Charity, Aberdeen Stewart. Grand Hope, Michaela Powers. Grand Faith, Aaron Shield, Grand Chaplain, Laura Britton, Grand Drill Leader, Mariah Hawkins.
As no one should ever set forth on any great or important work without the assistance of prayer, the Grand Assembly will bow their heads while the Grand Chaplain leads us in prayer.
O thou eternal one, whose presence bright all space doth occupy, all motion guide, to thee we come with bowed heads, praying that the power of thy divine leadership may fall upon us, that we may be seized from every fault and clothed with the power that leads to greater heights. Help us with clear eyes to look upon the girlhood of our country and try to understand all needs, and then give unto us that desire to serve, that we may enter into this field with greater enthusiasm than we have entered upon any other task. Bless all who give the time to lead us. May they have that spiritual power and vision that are needed in moments like this. Bless our grand worthy advisor and her associates. May they be living examples to all who shall see and know them. Grant that a true spirit of fraternity may prevail throughout this session, so that from the inspiration received here, we may carry back to our local assemblies a true spirit of helpfulness. These blessings and favors we ask in the name of our blessed Master. Amen. Lord, help us to keep our promise.
Sister Jessica Walter, Grand Worthy Associate Advisor-elect, please present yourself for installation. My sister, most of us have been associated with you in rainbow work for several years. The fact that you have received the present honor no doubt had its origin in your local assembly. Those who compose grand bodies do not spring into recognition in a single moment. They come out of toil and service, and because of this, they are recognized as leaders. You have been given this high honor because you merited it, but do not allow it to separate you from those who serve in humbler ranks. You have not yet attained the highest honor of rainbow. You have other services to perform, so let me remind you, my sister, that during this time, you serve this Grand Assembly as its Grand Worthy Associate Advisor. Be of real help to the Grand Worthy Advisor. She will need you many times. Your counsel will help her as you carry back this honor to your local assembly. Be reminded that it is your duty to render a service to them. Let the love and devotion that has always characterized your rainbow work become supreme during the ensuing year. May God bless you and keep you. My sister, the jewel of your office is the crossed gavels. It is a symbol of that the power entrusted into your hands is second only to that of the Grand Worthy Advisor. Please join me in congratulating our Grand Worthy Associate Advisor.
Yay!
Sister Aberdeen Stewart, Grand Charity appointed, please present yourself for installation. My sister, the office to which you have been selected is only one step in the ladder of success. Day by day, year by year, we grow naturally into the place that God intended us to fill, and in doing that, He expected of us our time and our talent, dedicated and devoted to every noble thing in this life. You may well be satisfied with this honor because it Its very name indicates the highest virtue, especially to you as a Grand Officer. Charity means kindness. It means that you have been given eyes to overlook the little faults of life, which sometimes bring tears and moments of unhappiness. This quality is no doubt responsible for your being here, for the very name of your station would spread the mantle of happiness, peace, and joy over us all. Keep this high aim always before you. Be reminded that there is one alone who can help you, and whether in deep solitude or in the noise and clamor of the crowds, remember him and ask him to help you on your way. My sister, the jewel of your office is the money bag. It represents life's treasures preserved through charitable deeds. Please join me in congratulating our grand charity. Sister Michaela Powers, Grand Hope appointed, please present yourself for installation. My sister, in the ritual of our order and during the sacredness of the initiation, we use those words, hope always awaits you. They are sublime because we do not know the inward need of those to whom the words are spoken. In human life, there have always been moments of doubt, times when it seems that error prevails over truth, where there is no light in the world except the flickering candle that may be blown out in a moment. Yet in these moments, there comes that subtle power we call hope. Keep it sacred and beautiful. Serve your grand worthy advisor and your grand jurisdiction as though inspired by it, until you shall feel more of its presence to light your pathway and the pathway of the girls of your grand jurisdiction upward and onward. My sister, the jewel of your office is the anchor. It represents a life that is secure in right living and thinking. Please join me in congratulating our grand hope. Sister Erin Scheel, Grand Faith appointed, please present yourself for installation. My sister, your feet have been placed in a pathway that leads to greater honor, and although it may seem distant to you, you may wear the purple of the order. There is a deeper significance in your duties, if you will attempt to understand them thoroughly, than there is in any other office. Your position in the Grand Assembly Room is constantly a reminder to all of us that your whole life, if spent close to the Holy Bible, cannot wander far into darkness. Your station represents an illumination which penetrates with such force that darkness is driven out entirely. You are to serve the Grand Jurisdiction of Oregon in this capacity. You, who have the power of creating faith in others and of leading them, must not overlook the fact that these powers are closely interwoven with your own life and being. My sister, the jewel of your office is the dove. It represents the life that is at peace because of its abiding faith. Please join me in congratulating our grand faith. Sister Laura Jane Britton, Grand Chaplain appointed, please present yourself for installation. My sister, you have been appointed Grand Chaplain of this grand jurisdiction for the ensuing year. To our Supreme Master, we are indebted for a prayer put into words. Sometimes it is a most difficult thing to think of yourself as being a messenger of inspiration and praise, not only for yourself, but for the many who constitute our Grand Assembly. You should be conscious only of one thing, that this is prayer to God. It is not necessary to tell him what we need, but rather to express our praise and gratitude to him for what he has given us. The tasks and burden of some are harder than those of others. At least to us, they may seem to be. But to our Father in heaven, perhaps all human life is none other than the reaching up of our hands and hearts to Him for help in need. No greater honor could possibly come to you, or no greater insight into your character and life than to know you were thought of as one who might speak to God for all of us. My sister, the jewel of your office is the Holy Bible. It represents life that is directed by divine guidance. Please join me in congratulating our Grand Chaplain. Sister Mariah Hawkins, Grand Drill Leader appointed. Please present yourself for installation. My sister, you have been appointed Grand Drill Leader of the Grand Assembly of the Grand Jurisdiction of Oregon. Yours, perhaps, is the most colorful of all stations. You have an opportunity to be an example in many ways. Your movements to and fro in the Grand Assembly Room may well be made a lesson to all attending the sessions. It will be your duty during the sessions of the Grand Assembly to present dignitaries for proper introduction and to obey the commands of the Grand Worthy Advisor in receiving and conducting to the Grand East anyone she may have selected to assist her in the opening ceremonies of the session. You will also have charge of the line of march and carry out any plans made by the Grand Worthy Advisor. Let me admonish you that your work must be rendered in all humility, for out of it comes the grace and beauty of life. Enter therefore into the silence and ask God to help you. My sister, the jewel of your office is the spear. It represents a life that is directed daily to the better and higher ideals. Please join me in congratulating our Grand Drill Leader. Please join me in honoring our country by singing the Star-Spangled Banner. Grand Recorder. You will call the names of the Grand and jurisdictional representatives of this Grand Assembly for the ensuing year.
Grand Representative, Aberdeen Stewart, Nevada, and Sao Paulo, Brazil. Grand Representative, Jessica Walter, to California. Jurisdictional representatives, Jessica Magner, Arizona and Colorado. Sarah Taylor, Tennessee and Virginia. Amy Kamakiana, jurisdictional representative to Alaska and Hawaii. Lexi Eller, jurisdictional representative to Ohio and Georgia. Mari Baker, Jurisdictional Representative to Washington, Idaho, North and South Carolina. Amelie Reese, Jurisdictional Representative to Illinois, Iowa, and Oklahoma. Catherine Moran, Jurisdictional Representative to Florida, Bolivia, and Texas. Meriwether Stewart, Jurisdictional Representative to Michigan and Canada. Brooklyn Doolin, Jurisdictional Representative to Kansas, Aruba, and Philippines. Desiree Rux, Jurisdictional Representative to North Dakota and Louisiana. Aaliyah Friend, Jurisdictional Representative to Indiana and Kentucky. Antigone Stewart, Jurisdictional Representative to Montana and Rhode Island.
As a representative of the Grand Jurisdiction of Oregon, you are responsible for corresponding with the girl from your state or country who is the representative to Oregon. You are each an emissary of goodwill and should be constantly striving to bring our jurisdictions closer together. Be reminded that the magnitude of our organization, knowing that in union there is strength, we charge you to carry the jurisdiction you represent a message of friendship that will strengthen the ties of affection. At the close of your year, you will be responsible for sharing a report to complete your duties for the year. Mrs. Metz, would you like to install the Grand Deputies and State Executive Committee members?
I am pleased at this time to install the Grand Deputies and members of the State Executive Committee for the 2020-2021 Grand Year. Grand Deputies: Mrs. Cosette Reese, Southern District. Mrs. Ann Alf, Northern District. Mrs. Diane Swan, Central District. Mrs. Bev Hayward, Eastern District. Mrs. Janet Loveland, Grand Deputy at Large. Your duties come from the Supreme Deputy and are to be performed with love and devotion to our beautiful order. You are to see that the assemblies in your district are proficient in the ritualistic work of the order. Perform an annual audit of each assembly's books. Accept responsibility for the proper performance of the grand officers and representatives in your district, and promote membership and teamwork within the district. Members of the State Executive Committee: Mrs. Jennifer Thornburg. Mrs. Lori Rhodes. Mrs. Patty Nielsen. Mr. Marlon Loveland. Sister Chloe Whitty. Sister Erin Scheel. Sister Mariah Hawkins. And Sister Jessica Walter. Your duties throughout the year are to work with the Supreme Deputy in any assignments she requests or subcommittees she appoints, so the business of Grand Assembly goes smoothly. Your decisions and actions will assist our order and its success.
Sisters and brothers, you have witnessed the installation service of this Grand Assembly. You are reminded of the fact that in all institutions, it becomes necessary for some to lead and direct the affairs for the time being, and for others to follow under their leadership. Those who are privileged in this life to lead for a while assume a great responsibility, and we sincerely hope that the officers of this Grand Assembly will give their time and their talent in the hope that they may do its work well. May the members of Oregon Grand Assembly rededicate themselves anew to a life of service, and may Oregon Grand Assembly prosper under the leadership during the ensuing year. Proclamation.
In the name of the Supreme Assembly of the International Order of the Rainbow for Girls, I now declare the officers of this Grand Assembly regularly installed for the ensuing year.
We are pleased to virtually have with us this morning Honored Lady Patty Nielsen, Grand Royal Matron, and Sir Knight Dick Barner, Grand Royal Patron of the Grand Court of Oregon, Order of the Amaranth. Mrs. Anna Lamb, Grand Guardian, and Mr. James Lamb, Associate Grand Guardian of Oregon Jope's Daughters. And Worshipful Brother Greg Jenkins, Deputy Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Oregon, Free and Accepted Masons, representing the Most Worshipful Grand Master, Mr. Michael J. McGuire. We are so pleased these members of our Masonic family were able to be with us this evening. Grand Worthy Advisors Address. Supreme Deputy, honored guests, and Rainbow family. We are in a whirlwind of change. There are many new things that we are doing within Rainbow. We have a new Supreme Deputy. We had a shift in Grand Offices, the addition of JREPs, and so much more. We are changing along with the world as we dive into this virtual landscape that we have found ourselves in. We have been working hard to be present and continue being the amazing organization that we are, despite the obstacles put before us. Oregon Rainbow has shown our perseverance and dedication during this trying time, and I am so incredibly honored to have the opportunity to continue as Grand Worthy Advisor and be a part of the monumental actions that we are taking to continue to rise up. I ask that you raise your voices in support of the 2021 fundraising service project. This year, we are focusing on raising money for Oregon Rainbow's Training and Leadership Fund. We will be raising our voices by visualizing opportunities, igniting change, and empowering sisters. Our organization is nearly 100 years old, and a big part of that incredible accomplishment is the strong leaders that Rainbow helps mold. You have probably heard this said over and over. Rainbow gets girls ready for life. We want to ensure that we are training and leading our membership in a way that will continue our success. It is important that we focus our sights on the development and training of our membership. Raising money for the Training and Leadership Fund would help pay for state leadership events such as Camp SAS, Supreme Trainings, Future Trainings, and leadership events. With a larger budget, the members of our jurisdiction will have more opportunities to develop and grow their leadership skills. Our fundraising goal is $10,000. The success of this program will be easily seen by the strong leadership from our members, both this year and for years to come. This year, our hands-on service project is working with the Oregon food banks. Due to COVID and unemployment-related issues, there is a growing food insecurity concern in Oregon at this time. The economic fallout of COVID has resulted in hundreds of people and families seeking food assistance, many for the first time. The economic fallout of COVID, I just read that sentence. Food pantries have reported up to 70% increase in use in the last few months. The need for our help has never been higher than right now. We will be implementing frequent visits to local food banks. Food banks are a fun way for our girls to serve together while also getting our organization more known in the community and doing a lot of good. During these events, we should be wearing our rainbow gear, taking pictures, and doing all that we can to broadcast ourselves and the work that we do in our communities. The Grand Officers will be hosting a statewide day of service where each Grandie will take a group of assemblies to a local food bank. Food banks are an easy way to accomplish a lot. During a single visit from an assembly, there will be lots of service completed, fun had by all, and the promotion of our organization. Given our current situation with COVID, we may not be able to go in and serve in the food banks quite yet, but they still need our help. We will also be collecting food to donate to the food banks. In Oregon, the average family has 3 people. In America, the average person eats 5 pounds of food per day. That means in order to feed an average 3-person household in Oregon for a year, they will need 5,475 pounds of food. And that is why this is our donation goal. Keep an eye out on invitations this year. You never know what event may ask you to bring food to donate. The Membership Growth Team and Jurisdictional Marketing Liaison have been working very hard to develop Oregon Rainbow's new brand. We have a new look, new marketing materials, and a more active social media presence. And we will be using our members in many different and exciting ways. One very useful technique that we are implementing into our membership recruitment and marketing materials is focusing on our why. Explaining what the organization is a very important step in our recruitment, but ultimately, the reason we are involved isn't because of that information. That is all extra. There is a main reason why you have decided to continue your rainbow journey. The reason why you are involved will be what draws interest from our potential members. Using the Why I campaign adds a more personal touch to our pitch to potential members. We are in luck because we started this with the Finding Your Why seminar at Virtual Grand Assembly and have the Membership Growth Team and Jurisdictional Marketing Liaison to help us find our whys. I am so incredibly excited and honored to be serving Oregon Rainbow for another year. There's a lot to look forward to this year. It will definitely be unlike any other as we journey through new online events and anxiously await when we are able to see each other in person again. Nevertheless, I know that whether we are in person or sharing time together virtually, we are all connected by love and the call of service. I hope we are all able to find new ways to serve in this changing world, and I can't wait to see what all we accomplish together. Thank you. Mrs. Metz, would you like to share your words with us at this time?
Thank you, Grandworthy Advisor. Tech support, I seem to be missing the share button. Oh, gotcha. Good morning. Renewal, the state of being made new or strong again. Renewal requires opening yourself up to new ways of thinking and feeling. This morning's installation ceremony of new and continuing officers is an integral part of our annual jurisdictional renewal process. It is a time when the accomplishments of the present officers are recognized, and thanks for a job well done is extended. It is also a time when leadership is passed from your current grant officers to a new grant family eager to implement their plans, and calls each one of us to action, and again reminds us to open ourselves up to new ways of thinking and feeling. Today's ceremony marks the beginning of a new year of leadership, service, and sisterhood for everyone. To the Hoop and Holler and Hedgehog Grand family of 2020, not only did you rise up, but we had an extraordinary year under your leadership with Camp SAS, the Adopted Grandparent Program, an international trend-setting virtual Grand Assembly, and you raised $16,500.50 for the Magic Growing Rods program, benefiting the Portland Shriners Children's Hospital. Congratulations for a job well done. To the Graham family of 2021 and the membership of Oregon Rainbow, the responsibility you are accepting is exciting. You are called to be the leaders of this dynamic and growing organization, which, with others around the world, will amplify your collective potential for achieving a vision of a future where all life can flourish. Did you know that zero hunger is the second goal of the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development? Your 2021 service project is contributing to an urgent global call to action to end hunger, achieve food security, and improve nutrition. Oregon Rainbow is one of many essential pieces of a single worldwide puzzle where the collective picture is peace and prosperity for people and the planet now and into the future. The role that women are playing and will play in the future to bring about positive global change is growing exponentially. The reason for this growing role is due to women's success in putting into practice transformational leadership. Transformational leaders are those who stimulate and inspire followers to both achieve extraordinary outcomes and, in the process, develop their own leadership capacity. Transformational leaders help followers grow and develop into leaders by responding to individuals by empowering them and simultaneously aligning the objectives and goals of the followers, the leaders, the team, and the larger organization. Next time someone asks you, what is this rainbow thing that you do? You can say, I am a member of the International Order of the Rainbow for Girls, the premier leadership program for women between 11 and 20, and I am donating my time and effort to the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, and more specifically, goal number 2, zero hunger. Would you like to join me on this global call to action? Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this morning.
Thank you, Mrs. Metz, for your words of wisdom and for bringing us into a new age of Oregon Rainbow. Worshipful brother, Mr. Jenkins, would you like to give us a few remarks at this time?
If I can get signed on here, I will. I think I'm there. Just a second. Well, maybe you can't see me, and that might be good, but on behalf of Most Worshipful Brother Mike McGuire, he wishes to extend his his heartfelt gratitude for everything that you've done in this last year, and hope that we have, and you have had, as we're learning to do these virtual meetings and stuff, a pretty good one, I thought. We know that times have been hard this year, that you haven't been able to do your fundraising and stuff like we have in the past, but you've done a good job of it. On behalf of the Grand Lodge, we're going to allocate them, or take from the allocations of the DJR day. We're going to take those monies and share them back with the youth groups and equally. And anyhow, and then we're looking at how we can help you farther on down the road. We know that there's things that are hard, and for the younger generation to be going through this, having to have virtual meetings and stuff, you guys probably handle it better than us older people, but we still need to one-on-one and be able to meet on the level and talk with our brothers and sisters. And we hope that, and I really hope that next year is nothing like this, because I'm looking forward to, if elected Grand Master, to work with the youth groups and see if we can't make things a little bit better than they have been. But we're proud of you, all of you, and I congratulate all the officers, and the Most Worshipful congratulates all the officers for all of the new incoming officers. And with that, I have nothing else to say except it's been a pleasure, and I'm glad that I was able to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jenkins, for joining us this morning. It is always a pleasure when our paths cross, even if it is virtually.
Thank you.
This concludes our virtual grand installation. Thank you all so much for leaving your worries behind this morning to join us.